Hi, welcome to another episode of Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Paul Zalzal.
I'm Dr. Brad Weening.
And I'm Dr. Daniela Steyn.
Dr. Daniela Steyn, thank you for joining us. You are a hospitalist in our hospital, and we appreciate all you do for us. And you're making some videos with us, so we're very grateful.
Thanks for having me.
And now today's topic is interesting because you have actually written a book about this that's coming out this summer. Have you written a book, Brad?
I'm not. I think you're aspiring to read a book, I'd heard.
I'm working on it. You're like a 40-year-old surgeon.
That's there you go. And I know that today's topic is really important to Paul and I because it's menopause.
Hey, easy.
No.
That's something I'm passionate about. And then even if you don't
Menopause.
go through menopause yourself, you will know someone who does. All of
100%.
us have people in our lives, and it's good to understand what they're going through.
It's important for us as orthopedic surgeons because the postmenopausal state is important for things like bone mineral density, osteoporosis, and risk of fracture.
Big thing.
However, that alone should make it so important to study, but I feel like menopause is something that's not talked about enough and not researched enough either. And I think there's a lot of improvement we have. So I'm so glad that you wrote a book about it and looking forward to it.
So it's coming out in June.
Yes.
It's going to be on
I'm excited about
Amazon. And we'll provide some links to Dr. Steyn's social media platforms so you can learn a little bit more about her and learn from her. But today we're going to talk about menopause a little bit.
So why I'm so passionate about menopause is as a family physician, I've had so many patients over the years, and even with my mom's journey when she went through menopause, I was in med school. And that's when that Women Health Initiative study came out saying, hormone replacement therapy is bad for you.
Right.
And I said, Mom, you have to stop immediately. It's going to cause cancer, blood clots. And my mom was, but this makes her younger. This gives her the edge. People at work, brain is faster, sharper.
Yep.
She feels that she can compete at work with women who are 20 years younger if she's on this treatment. She did not want to stop. I wanted her to stop. So I really been researching it from that time quite intensely, and then with all my patients in family practice, that I had a very big family practice, and I had people all over coming to me specifically regarding menopause. So I really learned a lot.
What is it? Just start with what is menopause?
So women have a fertility period. In that fertility period, you can have kids. It starts in puberty.
Yep.
When you go into your teenage years, and then we know that you're fertile usually because you have a regular menstrual cycle. There are some variants, but every month you'll get a menstrual period, and that lasts until about 52. That is your mean age of going through menopause. For some women, 10 years earlier, some 10 later. So from 40 to 60, women typically go through menopause. And that just shows us this is the end of your fertility years.
Right.
And that end point is not set in stone. It's variable from one person to another.
Yes, for every person it's different, and you don't even know when you're going through menopause as a woman because your period will become irregular.
Right.
You'll have it more frequent, less frequent period. But then when you know you haven't had your period for a full year,
1 year, okay.
1 year, then you know you're in menopause. So your 1 year anniversary of your last period is the day you're
Right.
That's your first year anniversary of menopause.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite cool.
And then why you're passionate about menopause is what happens then is estrogen helps to keep your bones strong. It helps to build calcium into bones. It makes you through your fertility years so strong that you can grow a human in you. So your bones are very strong.
Women are amazing that they can do that, right? It's amazing.
But then after menopause, your body doesn't have to do that.
Right.
So first, your hormone levels will fluctuate quite a bit.
Okay.
Same that you get through puberty, teenagers where it fluctuates again.
And we're mostly talking about estrogen and progesterone, but some of the other smaller ones as well.
Yes, everything is influenced, but yes, estrogen and progesterone are your big hormones.
Okay.
And then they slowly decrease because you don't need as much.
Right.
And that would then affect your bone health. Then your bones are not as strong anymore.
Right.
Okay. So bone health, one issue.
Many other things.
Yeah.
Biggest reason women often come to me is because of their cardiovascular health.
Right.
Women's risk of dying from a heart attack increases quite significantly. The biggest symptom people come to me would be typically because of sleep. So women get significant hot flashes. And what a hot flash is your body has this vasodilation where you become very hot. It's like there is a furnace inside, and just suddenly, you don't know it's going to happen. You heat up from top to bottom, and you might break out in a sweat quite significantly, where you're very hot for a minute or two, different duration.
And very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Right.
At work, it is hard for women because you might become sweating. Your clothes can become wet.
Yeah.
It makes sleep very difficult
Sure.
because you will wake up drenched in sweat.
Wow.
Then you have to go change your nightgown, maybe change your sheets.
You're awake
sleep
now
again.
as well.
You're awake now.
Yeah.
You have to go back to sleep. That
Right.
disrupts your sleep. when your sleep is disrupted, obviously your health, your mood, everything is disrupted with that. So it's a very tricky stage to go through.
Okay, so we've associated with menopause are things like bone health issues,
Heart
cardiovascular
health.
issues,
Yes.
and of course just lifestyle, sleep disturbance, hot flashes, that kind of stuff.
Sleep, mood is a big thing.
Mood.
When you say mood, what do you mean?
So people,
Like swings in mood?
Yes, swings in mood. Women will tell me that they suddenly become so angry or so frustrated and things that you're not used to, even if you're level-headed and things used to be easier, and sleep deprivation will make it worse.
So men, be sensitive, be
Yes.
patient. Women, be sensitive and patient with
Yes.
each other. Everybody, be patient with
Yes.
menopausal women.
Yes, and talk about that. So the majority of women that I have will really take a step back at work, because you can't
Right.
be doing that presentation
Right.
when you don't know
Oh, I
if you're
never
going to
thought.
get a hot flash anymore. So this is a point where women really excel in their career, but now because of this, because of not sleeping, because of hot flashes, a lot of women really step back, which is unfortunate, and I don't want women to. That's why I'm passionate about this. This is why I'm writing this book. I want to help women to thrive through this.
Okay.
So this book is non-fiction, I assume?
It's non-fiction, my friend.
It could be, you know, it's a good premise, could be a
and
good
it's all
movie.
the facts,
Right,
because
so-
it is so hard. So this is not a storybook at all. This
Okay.
is not what you're going to listen on your drive here on Audible.
Right,
No.
Okay.
No, this is facts, because it's hard for women. When you go to one person, they say, don't go on hormone replacement therapy. It causes cancer.
Okay, so treatments now.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
it's funny. It's a funny thing to discuss because menopause is a natural part of
Yes.
human aging.
And the majority don't need treatment.
That's right. So, and now we're talking about a treatment for something that's natural and whether or not you need it. So we're going to get some comments on this. It's going to be
Yeah, for sure.
controversial.
And it
that's
is
fine.
controversial
It
too.
is.
It is not cut and dry. Every patient's not the same.
Everyone is
Yeah.
different. And that's
Yeah.
why you have to see your healthcare provider. Our
Great
talk
advice.
is really just to open the discussion, but you're going to go and see your own doctor to chat about what's best for you.
And there are options to treat some of these sequelae of it in terms of hormone replacement therapy.
So I'd say with respect to HRT, I think that's a whole video on its own. So I think it's important to put out there, this is still an option. The evidence does
it's
not
an
show that you
option.
should not do it. So it's varied. So you need to talk to someone about that. But what can people do on their own, maybe before they get to the doctor?
There are so many things.
Okay, here we go.
Yes. So the first one is to be aware of what's going on and talk to the people around you.
Okay, watch this video. Done. 2.
Number 2 is movement.
Okay.
When you go through these changes, your body secretes more adrenaline, cortisol, you're more stressed out.
Yeah.
When you do proper movement, when you go for a walk and you use up all that adrenaline and cortisol, that really helps for your mood. It helps to improve your sleep. If you can walk between woods or somewhere in nature, you get ecotherapy in.
Oh, wow.
Which there's a lot of science. That's a whole talk on its own.
Okay.
Ecotherapy, yes.
Make a list.
Just makes you happier. You mean being walking in the woods rather
Yes.
than on a street or...
But there's a lot of science behind that. They've done a study here in Toronto where they would have a group of people walk in the woods and a walk in
treadmill?
between houses.
Oh, okay.
Treadmill's even worse.
Even worse,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So
That's
treadmill
what I
is
do.
good maybe for losing weight or fitness, but it doesn't give you that wellness. So for the people who were walking in woods, their blood pressure levels came down, their cholesterol came down.
Amazing.
So your
Yeah.
your health is improved, yes, if you can.
Okay.
Unless there's a bear.
But
That
You want that?
skews the results.
it's a bit.
Okay, so movement.
But treadmill is better than nothing.
Yep.
It improves your sleep. And then what were we talking about? Menopause is so big.
So ways that people can... What can they do on their own?
Oh, yes. Then there are lots of herbs that are actually helpful that you can read up on. And then on my website, there's a lot of things that you can see that can help for certain symptoms, depending on what it is. Some
Okay.
help for hot flashes, some help for brain fog, some help for mood. So there
Okay.
are quite a lot of herbs.
Yep.
The next thing is to look at your nutrition. So we've been talking quite a bit about that. The majority of women, I find, don't have enough protein in their diet.
Right. And people, as they get older in general, usually because of the cost of animal-based proteins, that sometimes it's just cost prohibitive. So you really need to focus on this.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be expensive. That's the thing that I really learned now. If you eat beans, and a lot of people say beans make them gassy.
Okay, I love beans, and beans are so good for you.
And then you get your movement.
That's true. But if you research it properly, if you soak your beans overnight,
Yep.
you get rid of that gassiness. You can read up on it, but that gives you your protein. And to be cognizant about it, I think most people don't even think about that, but that's what you see as orthopedic surgeons.
Agreed.
If you don't have strong muscle health, and we see it in women, then if it happens, God forbid, that you had that hip fracture, you're not going to be able to get up the next day,
Right.
and you'll be in bed. You're at risk of lots of complications if you have very strong muscles.
So
Yeah.
resistance training,
Yes,
exercise,
that's a
including some
big
kind of
thing for
resistance
menopause.
training.
That's a very big thing. So I didn't even know what weight bearing and resistance training was really before I did more training in menopause.
Yep.
But a woman should be doing weight training.
Yep.
And even if you don't want to go to the gym, you can do things like squats where you have
Body
your
weight.
own weight.
Yep.
Yes. And that can make a significant difference in your bone strength.
Okay.
Hans and Franz were visionaries,
Yeah.
right?
Now, just back to the nutrition. So we said more protein. Is there anything specifically in the diet other than obviously beans to get your protein that people should look for?
Lots of antioxidants. So
Okay.
what I often see with women, they might be gaining some weight through menopause and then they restrict their diet.
Okay.
They eat less. But if you eat less, your body just thinks, oh, you're in starvation mood, and then it slows your metabolism even worse. So
Okay.
then you start a very downward spiral. So to make sure that you do eat meals,
Yep.
that you eat enough, that you have protein with all meals, and that you have a lot of vegetables. So if you eat a whack load of veggies with every meal, you get so many antioxidants that really feed your mitochondria. And that's a little bit tricky, but in every cell there is a mitochondria, and that's what increases longevity. So if you really want to go strong through menopause, make sure that you eat a lot of antioxidants, lots of fruits, lots of veggies, lots of protein.
Because there's going to be questions, I just had to get your 30-second opinion on soy. Very controversial about phytoestrogens and
Yes.
estrogen-like substances in our food.
So I did a lot of research on this because it was confusing to
For
me
sure.
as well. Processed soy is bad. Like processed anything is bad for
Yeah.
us.
So what would be an example of processed soy for people?
Just if you buy a box of food and there's like 20 ingredients,
Right.
and ingredient number 35 says soy something, it's not a good soy.
Right, but not tofu.
Tofu is good, edamame is good,
Yeah.
tempeh is good. So any whole foods
Yep.
that, yes, that is good.
Love it.
What I tell my patients to do, what's easy, is to get a Yuka app, Y-U-K-A. It's free. If you're in a different country, you can get a free app that's similar. You can look at the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org.
Love them.
Yes.
We talked about their Dirty
Yes.
Dozen and their Clean 15.
Yes. So what this Yuka app does, it just makes it easy. So you
Okay.
can scan your food. It's free. It's barcode scanner, and then you scan, and it shows you what is in this food that's harmful and not.
Wow.
So it shows.
Good app.
Yes. So what you're asking about soy, there's a lot of other things in our food that have all these additives.
Yep.
That's carcinogenic, and we don't know that. But if you just like scan it, it's easy.
My wife has a similar app for cosmetics and stuff like that. Maybe it's the same
Yes,
company.
it's Yuka, yes. And
Yeah.
there's different ones. Find any, we're not endorsing it, find any free app,
Yep.
but it's just so much easier. And then if you scan, if I buy granola bars for my kids and I scan it and says, no, this one is horrible, and I thought it's like expensive and organic and sugar-free and they say it's horrible,
Yeah.
then it shows you other ones that are green,
Yeah.
and then those are the ones without all the additives,
Amazing.
that doesn't make you hooked on it, like messes up your leptin and your hormones, that really causes obesity, because a lot of the obesity we see are really caused by these chemicals in the food.
Okay.
So yeah. So
Oh, that's a
big
great
topic.
app. That's a good app.
And now I know there was one more that we talked about before this video. I think you had mentioned alcohol and caffeine.
Don't go
So-
there.
Sorry, people.
Women don't want to hear this. I know it's very hard.
Men don't want it.
Because if it's your own, that's what they say, it's my only vice.
Yes.
So quite often women struggle with palpitations,
Right.
with heart disease, palpitations and heart disease. Coffee can increase your anxiety, the caffeine.
Okay.
So if you're used to that habit, and I'm also in that habit, it's a nice habit to have your coffee, you can replace that with a caffeine-free coffee,
Okay.
or with a nice tea. You can get into teas. So caffeine,
And you'll have to find a tea that doesn't have caffeine because a lot of
Yeah.
tea still does have caffeine,
yes.
trickly kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so caffeine-free coffee or tea.
I love rooibos tea. That's a South African tea. When you
Oh.
come visit, yes, I'll give you South African tea.
Okay.
That's very good. Full of
Yeah.
antioxidants.
Right, let's film there.
Yes. So decrease your caffeine if you struggle with palpitations, anxiety. See your doctor though. If you have palpitations, don't just stop coffee. Go see your doctor as well,
Right.
because a lot of women have heart disease when they go through menopause. We don't pick it up because they look healthy
They
and
say,
strong
oh, it's
and
just
young.
menopause, it's just
Yes.
menopause, and they're...
So that's quite critical. See your doctor. But then once your doctor has done all the tests, there's nothing wrong. Cut back on coffee.
Yep.
Alcohol is the other one. You know what? And especially if you've had a hard day and things are rough, I understand that a lot of people want, but through menopause, I see with so many women, first of all, they kind of get a little bit of an allergic reaction where women who could have had alcohol all the time now have a histamine release.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
interesting.
Which looks different to different people, but it can cause gut upset, it can cause different symptoms, and it impairs your sleep.
Yeah, 100%.
It
Even in
really
non-menopause people, right? Good
impairs
studies to
your
show that.
sleep. And the best way to get through menopause well is to improve that quality of sleep.
Okay.
So that's hard, and I know we don't want to
Alcohol.
hear that.
No, I think we love that. We always have preached honesty here, and everyone
Yeah.
gets to decide what they
Yeah.
follow. We just
Yeah.
want to provide you with the best opportunity to live healthier, happier lives. And menopause is very difficult, not only for the individual going through it, but also for the family members.
Around
You don't want to
them.
see your wife not having a good sleep or being
Yes.
stressed out or whatever.
And we don't live 100% by what we preach. That's important to know.
You do your best.
You do your best, right? And I mean, we're going to lose our rum and Coke sponsorship with this alcohol and
Captain
caffeine
Morgan.
in one go.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Steyn. There's so much useful information. And guys, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next time.